So the fundamental flaw in this entire process is, without enhancing yourself, you're trying to enhance your activity. It's like… You're from UK, eh?
Scotland, yes.
Scotland. You take a junk Vauxhall and try to drive it on the F1 track, it's bound to fall apart. Instead of dreaming of winning an F1 race, if you build a machine which is capable of doing whatever your intelligence allows to build, whatever kind, if you build one, then it'll do whatever it does. Whether it wins or not is subject to what others have done. Whether you win a race or not simply depends on how good or bad other people are. But when we do something, are we functioning from the highest possibility within us or from the lowest possibility or somewhere in between is a big question. And the biggest question in human life is, you do not know what is your highest possibility. For every other creature on this planet, nature has drawn two lines. Within that, they live and go. For the human being, there's only bottom line, there's no top line. So it doesn't matter what you become, you still don't know whether you hit the peak or not. Only those people who are only interested in winning races with other crippled people, they have hit the peak.
Okay.
But any genuine human being who is exploring his own nature, you never know if you hit your peak because there is still room, no matter what you have done. So, enhancing the machine, this human mechanism, is most important. Whether you win the race or not, whether you did this or not is not important. If you have this enhanced, everything that you do will be enhanced. People around you think you're superhuman simply because everything that you do seems to be of a different nature, of a different quality that they can't imagine. Not because you're intending to do things better than other people, simply because you have spent time to enhance this one. So, this is a fundamental flaw in the attitude with which people are entering the world. Instead of building a great mechanism which will… whatever it does will be of a great possibility, people are trying to do great things, which is going to kill them. That's why successful people are miserable. Somehow they've managed to do something and it's taking such a big toll on them. Because you belong to a generation which is goal-oriented.
True.
Goal-oriented means you are interested in the mango, the sweetness of the mango, but you are not interested in the tree. Because slowly you're living in a generation where mango comes from a supermarket, not from a tree. It may so happen in a laboratory they will make a mango, all right? But if you want mangoes in your garden, you don't have to think mangoes, you don't have to meditate upon mangoes. You have to think soil, filth, manure, water, sunlight. No mangoes in your mind. You have only manure, soil, water, sunlight in your mind. Mangoes will happen. Or in other words, you are too interested in the consequence, but not in the process which causes the consequence. This is goal-orientedness. In yoga we say, if you have one eye on the goal, you have only one eye to find your way, it's inefficient. If you use both your eyes to find your way, according to your capability, you will go as far as you can go. That means you're not concerned how far somebody is going. You want to go as far as you can go, that's what you're interested in. But right now, this goal-orientedness means you're only interested in going one step further than your neighbor. Or in other words, the only joy that you have in your life is somebody is doing worse than you. I think that's a sick mind. There was a time nobody believed that you will reach 100 in a cricket game only after 35 to 40 overs. I remember this change that happened. First time, Sanat Jayasuriya hit the ball within the first 20 overs, 100. Now people are hitting it within 8-9 overs, okay? Because they're not thinking about what somebody did. You hit the ball according to your capability. Who knows, maybe you'll hit it better than Tendulkar. We don't know. The possibility is there. In reality, there may be a distance, that's different, but the possibility is there. So if you become goal-oriented, your goals are always determined by other people's capabilities. You will never do what you could have done. Maybe you can't hit a ball, maybe you could do something else, way better than anybody else. But you will never do that because you go on trying to hit the ball that you can't hit. If you have a machine, every time you touch it, it must fire, all right? Intermittently it fires once in a way, that's not a great machine. The same goes for the human being. If you have a spark of genius, you must be able to make it happen spark all the time, 24 hours. Otherwise, it fires once in a way, accidentally, then you become astrological. You're looking for the right position of the planets for you to fire. That's inefficiency. That inefficiency is coming because perception is blocked.
Is there a way to manage that?
Oh yes, there's an entire science. As there is a science and technology to create external situations the way we want it, there is a whole science and technology to create inner situation the way you want it. This is what we're calling as inner engineering, to engineer your interiority the way you want.
Okay.
We can give you a 12-minute simple process of meditation.
Okay.
It's available on the web, we can give you a CD, it's freely available. Millions of people have practiced this, very simple form. If they do that and if it works, they can do something more serious.
Like 12 minutes.
It's called Isha Kriya. You just go on the net and say Isha Kriya, it'll come up. There's a phone app, you can put it on your phone. Yoga is a technology for well-being,
Very nice.
okay? Actually, the tagline is inner engineering, technologies for well-being. You don't need to believe it. Why I'm insisting is a technology is, it doesn't matter who you are, whether what gods you believe in or you disbelieve in, which part of the geography you come from, if you learn to use it, it works. That's the beauty of technology. Here, if you learn to use it, it works, and that's the nature of yoga. If you learn to use it, it'll work for you. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what you believe or disbelieve. So these are technologies for well-being. Making use of external technologies to disseminate the same is a natural outcome. It's a very natural thing to do. So, for the first time in the history of humanity, our ability to reach human beings on this planet is like never before. The speed and the scope of it is unimaginable just 25 years ago or even 10 years ago, if you ask me. But people tell me, I don't know if this is factually correct, but people tell me 60% of the inner internet space is covered by pornographic material. I don't know if I'm right on the figure, but people tell me so. I think that's a crime. So, I'm making an effort. Technologies for inner well-being of the human being must dominate the space so that human beings learn how to be well. That the tools for well-being must be in the hands of every human being. The tools for well-being must be in the hands of individual human beings, not in the hands of organizations, gurus, popes, no matter what. I'm saying the tools for your well-being must be in your hands, not in my hands. Unfortunately, you left it in my hands, I'm trying to put it into your hands. So, please give us the digital support. See, the basic issue is, do you want to look good or feel good or be good within yourself.
A lot of the Western world sees them
It's
as the
about
same thing.
looking good.
Mm.
Looking good is more important than what's happening within you.
And we
Even
believe
if
that
you're a
people
tortured human being within you, you just have to look smart and nice and like that.
Uh-huh.
This has to be taken away from an early childhood. Looking good is not important. What is your experience of life? Is your experience of life great or not? This is what is important. This value change must happen. It's not something that you can change overnight in the world. But those who suffer immensely will change. I see that suffering coming because suffering is getting younger and younger. There was a time only old people used to be worried. Now you see a 12-year-old boy is seriously worried. So when that kind of suffering comes, looking good is not important. When suffering becomes unbearable, people will understand looking good is not important. How I experience my life is important. You hear this talk all over, isn't it, these days? Still the necessary corrections have not been made, but people are beginning to talk. So this is the time technologies for inner well-being are transmitted. The time is right.
Good.